Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel musicNLogic and to the next part of our Python tutorial series. If you haven't watched the previous videos, I highly recommend checking out part 1 and part 2 first to get a solid foundation. Also, if you are new here or haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our upcoming tutorials. And in this video, we are going to cover basic input and output in Python along with different types of operators. These are fundamental concepts that you will use frequently when writing Python code. So let's dive right in. Basic input and output. In Python, we use the print function to output data to the console. It's one of the simplest and most commonly used functions. For example, you can print text like this. Print hello world. So here, this will output the text directly to the console. The text that is in between the quotes will be displayed on the console. So now if you want to take input from the user, you use the input function. Let's say you want to ask someone for their name, you would write the code as shown below. So this will prompt the user to enter their name and whatever they type will be stored in the name variable. You can then use that value in your program, which is shown below. So this will greet the user by name. Pretty simple, right? Input and output are fundamental in Python and you will use these functions a lot in your programs. Now, when you're working with strings in Python, sometimes you want to include variable values in your output. This is where string formatting comes in. There are a few different ways to do this. The most modern and recommended way is to use f-strings. Here is an example which makes you much clearer. So this will output hello John. It's clean and easy to read, right? Another way is using the format method. Look at the example below. This achieves the same result, but it's a little more complex than f-strings. And finally, there is the percentage operator, which is often referred to modulus operator, which is actually an older method, but it still works. All of these methods allow you to include variables in your output. This is all about string formatting. Now let's talk about arithmetic operators. These operators allow you to perform basic mathematical operations and you will find yourself using them very often. Let's go over each one. The addition operator is used to add two numbers and the subtraction operator subtracts one number from another and the multiplication operator multiplies two numbers together and the division operator divides one number by another and you will get a float value as a result. Now sometimes you want only the integer part of the division result. This is where float division comes in. It discards the decimal part and gives you just the whole number. The modulo operator is called the modulus or remainder operator. It gives you the remainder when one number is divided by another. And the exponential operator allows you to raise a number to a power. For example, 2 raised to the power of 3, which gives you an output of 8. As you can see, these operators help you perform a wide range of mathematical operations from simple addition to more complex operations like float division and exponentiation. You will encounter these frequently in your programs, so it's important to get comfortable with them. Now let's look at how these operators work in practice with some examples on the screen. Look at these examples for better understanding. Now let's move on to comparison operators. These operators are essential when you're comparing values in your code. They return a boolean result either true or false. You will be using them frequently as they help in decision making. I have given example for each operator. Look at the examples and the comparison operators are equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. These operators are great for comparing values and you will soon see how they are used in real decision making within programs. In fact, the next topic we'll cover is control flow, where these comparison operators play a key role in things like if statements and loops. But for now, it's important to understand how these work, as they'll be the foundation for writing logic in your programs. Next, let's talk about assignment operators. These operators are used to assign values to variables and can also be combined with arithmetic operators. They help you write more concise and readable code. Let's look at each one with examples. Firstly, the operators are equal to, add and assign, subtract and assign, multiply and assign, divide and assign, and float divide and assign. Firstly, equal to is a basic assignment operator. It assigns the value on the right to the variable on the left. And secondly, add and assign. This adds the value on the right to the variable and then assigns the result to the same variable. And the same happens with the every other operator, that it updates the variable by applying the operator with the value on the right and then assigns the result back to the same variable. So, these operators help you write more concise and readable code, as I said before. Instead of writing the full expression each time, you can simply update the variable with these shortcuts. They are very handy when you need to repeatedly update a variable, like in loops or iterative process. Remember, using these assignment operators effectively can make your code more efficient and easier to understand. Now let's see other operators. Coming to logical operators, these operators are used to combine multiple conditions and return a Boolean result, either true or false. They are often used in decision making statements to make your code more flexible and powerful. Let's look at the three logical operators with example. Logical AND operator returns true only if both conditions are true, and the logical OR operator returns true if at least one of the conditions is true, and the logical NOT operator inverts the Boolean value. That means it returns true if the condition is false and returns false if the condition is true. These operators are useful when you need to evaluate multiple conditions together, like in if statements or while controlling the flow of a program. They help make your code more dynamic and expressive by allowing you to create complex logical expressions. We'll see these operators in action more when we dive into control flow statements, but for now, just remember that they are crucial for combining conditions effectively. Now let's take a look at bitwise operators. These operators work directly with the binary representation of numbers manipulating individual bits. They are commonly used in low-level programming tasks such as working with binary data or optimizing performance. Let's go through each one. Firstly, the operators are AND, OR, XOR, NOT, left shift and right shift. The AND operator performs a bitwise AND operation on each bit of two numbers, and the OR operator performs the same OR operation on each bit of two numbers, and XOR operation performs a bitwise XOR, which is also called as exclusive OR operation on each bit of two numbers. It returns 1 if the bits are different and 0 if they are the same. And the NOT operator inverts all the bits of a number, which is also called as complement. And the left shift shifts the bits of a number to the left by specified number of positions, filling with zeros, and the right shift shifts the bits of a number to the right by the specified number of positions, discarding bits shifted out. So look at the examples to understand how these operations are performed. These operators are powerful tools for tasks like setting, toggling, or checking specific bits in a number. You may not use them often in everyday programming, but they are crucial in fields like embedded systems and performance optimization. We'll see more examples of these operators in specific scenarios as we go deeper into programming, but for now, this should give you a basic understanding of how they work. Now let's move on to membership operators. These operators are used to test whether a value is a part of a sequence such as a list, tuple or string. They are very useful when you want to check for the presence of a specific element. There are two membership operators, which is in and not in. In returns true if the value is found in the sequence, and not in returns true if the value is not found in the sequence. So look at the examples to understand how these operations are performed. These operators are very handy when working with collections and strings, as they let you quickly check for the presence or absence of elements. Now, coming to identity operators, these operators are used to compare the memory location of two objects to see if they refer to the same object. They are commonly used when you want to check whether two variables point to the exact same object, not just have the same value. There are two identity operators, is and is not. Is returns true if both variables refer to the same object, and is not returns true if both variables do not refer to the same object. Notice how these examples demonstrate the subtle difference between comparing values and comparing memory locations. These operators are particularly useful when you need to ensure that two variables are referencing different objects even if they hold the same values. So that wraps up our video on basic input, output and operators in Python. We covered how to take input from users, display output and how to use various operators like arithmetic operator, comparison operator, logical operator, assignment operator, membership and identity operators. These are the building blocks of Python programming, and you will use them constantly as you develop more complex programs. And in the next video, we'll dive deeper into Python's control flow. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with my latest tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And as we wrap up this video, let's test your understanding of the topics we have covered. I have prepared a few MCQs to help reinforce the key concepts. Now take a moment and pause the video and answer before you continue. So this will help solidify what you have learned about basic input-output, string formatting and operators. See you soon in the next video. Bye bye.